Welcome to Writer Syndrome, podcast about writing from start to finish. This episode, Russ launches a book.
Yeah, he does.
Hey! I'm Russ. I'm that Russ. Joining me as always is Tim Latney. Tim, how are you?
I'm excited that you're launching a book. That feels like years from now.
The smile on my face is
my God.
It's hurting. It's hurting my face.
What are you going through? How are you feeling? That's crazy to me. Is it over? Are you done? No more books?
I'm just gonna go.
You can die now.
If there's holes I need to be digging, I'm just gonna go do that for the rest of my life because I'm done. As of this episode's launch, it is out there. It is out there to purchase. So at very least, you can go to Amazon and get it for the ebook. You can also get it Apple and
what's it called?
Nook. Host. Oh yeah, name of the book is Host. By me.
By Russell Capasso? Russ Capasso?
By Russ Capasso, yes. Get out there. Go get it.
Go get that.
If the paperback and the hardcover are not out right now, that's because I screwed up somewhere maybe a week ago. Past me may have screwed up, but it will be coming. Paperback and hardcover will be coming shortly after that on Amazon and probably in other areas, Barnes and Noble and stuff like that. So it's out there. This is it. The whole podcast. We've been doing all this leading up to this moment.
That's amazing.
One of two big moments here. This being mine, yours coming soon. So
I don't think I'm going to. I think I'll just continue to live through you, and
you're just going to be editing and editing.
I'm never going to be done editing. I'm on my 6th draft, literally.
You're going to have it cut down to like 50,000 words and turn into a novella. All of a sudden, it's like multiple short stories.
I'm at 107K. I got to get to 100K before I can comfortably query.
Yeah.
I don't want to give them another reason not to respond to my email. Word count being one of them.
Yeah. So that's it. It's done. We're done. I think that's it. We're done. That's it. We're going home. Back in
Writer Syndrome complete.
We're complete. We're done. No, we're not. That's not true. We're lying to you.
We got more books?
Do I have more books? What's happening? Yeah. What happens now?
I mean, are you done writing forever?
No, absolutely not. Let's see what happens next. I have what happens next is like now this is day one of this being out in the world. I now shift into the brain that I don't really want to do, but I have to. I become sales marketing guy, which I think we'll talk about a little bit more in like the next episode because I'll be knee deep in marketing. Thank God I have so many people who work in the marketing industry, though. You know.
I'm in nonprofit marketing, so it's a completely different beast. If you don't want to make a profit, I'm your person to market your book.
I think I know.
I'll just give it away places.
Like, Tim, you're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong.
Use my powers for good.
Oh man, no, that's good. At least you're doing that. Then it's book 2. Start book 2. I have started outlining it, written some scenes for it. It's going to be in kind of the same universe, not a direct sequel, but characters from this book will be pulled into this. So, yeah.
I got a question though. You've been through this entire process. We've talked about it episode after episode, writer's chat after writer's chat.
Yeah.
Are you going to take a little bit of a break for yourself before you jump into the next thing? Like, are you burnt out, fatigued?
No.
You want to breathe? No,
I'm ready. I don't want to sit around.
Like when you get a new job, like you finish a gig and then you get a new one, and a lot of people take a week or 2 off just to kind of reset.
No, I think my week or 2 off is going to be, it's out now, probably for the next 2 weeks. It will be me taking time off from maybe thinking about book 2 and focusing on marketing and pushing this book and getting everything, all the channels correct and everything in the right spot. And then it's going to be, hopefully I can turn that into like the part-time job I do in the afternoons. It's just promoting the first book. And then in the mornings, it's just, I want to get right back into it. I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready to start working. So, but no, I'm not feeling any fatigue.
Have you like rewarded yourself along the way? I mean, I work on like a cookie system, right? Like I did a thing, you get a cookie. Yeah. Have you like made sure to like, have you rewarded yourself for finishing this thing?
There's a nice bottle of scotch sitting right next to me that I'll be opening once we're done with this episode. So
it's early, dude.
Don't worry about it. Depends on when you listen. I'll reward myself with a little something. But I'm just ready. I'm ready to start the next thing.
I guess because you don't feel done per se. You're starting. This whole process has been like starting your path as like a writer.
Yeah.
So you're not. If anything, I guess you're probably thinking about ways you can improve the process for next time. Like, is there some takeaways that you've had from this process? Obviously, we've chatted about them on the cast, but there's some takeaways that stand out to you that would be time saving or
having a much better plan going into revision process. That's gonna be number one. I think this one, I had no idea what I was doing, so I was just kind of piecemealing it together, and it felt like such a drag, and it was such like a draining part of this whole thing. And I don't think it needs to be that way. At least I think I can make it less so. So I think next time, once I get my outline and kind of, get things, all my prep work ready for book 2 before I start writing, I'm like, okay, once I finish this, what's my timeline? What's like my, where do I take a little bit of a breather and maybe work on something else? Or when do I start the revision process, and what are my expectations for each revision,
Yeah.
And honestly, the other thing that ties really into this is like picking kind of, a ballpark launch date, like ahead of time, and being like, okay, if I start writing this book now, when do I want this to be out?
Yeah.
Even if it's just like 2024 Q1, start there, and then as I finish draft 1, draft 2, okay, narrow it down to like, May of 2024 or something like that, or March or something, and then as I get closer and closer, pick a date. I think those things like better revision planning, what I want to get out of each revision as I go through it. I think I'm going to skip doing like the content edit from an editor, professional editor. I think I'm just going to go right I think I'm just going to go right to copy line edit.
Wasn't that crazy helpful for you though?
For a first book, it was really helpful. And I think I learned a lot from it. And I think I'm going to lean on beta readers a bit more for like catching some stuff.
Interesting.
I think I'm going to change that process a little bit too, and like have some more refined tasks for beta readers. And I also am going to expand my beta reader like group out to not just being
interesting.
Friends of friends.
Just thinking about like you going through that process, the content edit was a heavy lift.
It was huge.
It seemed like you were actually really happy with, whereas the copy line edit was something that you felt could be improved upon.
It was the proofread that could have been, I think.
Okay.
That one I think could be improved upon, but the copy line edit, no, that was super helpful because that got into the nitty gritty and also was covering like some content pacing issues too. And I just think now I feel better about story structure and where to, pace things and how to, going through this process, like learned so much. I obviously have more to learn and refining it, but I think I've got a better idea.
So, and we're coming in, right? So you're launching or would have launched with the release of this cast, your ebook. Looking back, if you could do it over again, or since you will be doing it over again in the future, would you prefer to launch ebook and physical book on the same date? Or is this something that you're intentionally kind of spreading out?
I think I'm okay with spreading out a bit. It might allow me to give me like these talking points and like kind of maybe boost things like, hey, I got a, paper book is out there. Maybe I'll catch like some new people for that. But I think next time I definitely want paperback. I want to make sure absolutely paperback and ebook are out on the same day. Definitely. And hardcover, like I'm okay, I think, with that waiting. I think that's fairly common is like the hardcover will wait after to see like how sales are doing with a paperback. And
for self-published.
Yeah, for self-published.
For traditionally published, it's the inverse, right? Hardcover's out first, then paperback comes later.
I'm actually not sure. I mean, hardcovers, I don't know, maybe you've found something about that, but I don't know actually. I think I mean
I could be going off of like really old my going to Barnes and Noble as a kid, but like my experience is that the hardcovers come out first, unless it doesn't necessarily have a hardcover option. If it's like maybe it's established authors will do that because they're expensive, right, compared to like the mass market paperbacks.
Well, that's the other thing too. The hardcovers, they are very expensive, and then putting them in a store, man, I get a price that's so high to make $1, And I was like, I don't want to price my first time novel at $28 for a hardcover just to make $1. Like,
I'll buy a couple. It's $2 right there.
I'll take it. But and that's, I think some of that's expected, but I have to, another avenue I need to really, really kind of figure out pricing and those expectations.
So then hardcover, paperback, and ebook will all have different price points?
Yeah. Hopefully later this fall, I'll have an audiobook coming, which I think actually most people look for these days.
Wow.
I think a lot of people won't even look at a book if there's not an audiobook. So I think there's a huge portion of people who prefer audiobooks. So yeah. But I think that's one I'm okay with holding off on because I can, it's just another avenue for revenue source or another avenue for people to find your book. And that's okay, I think, to really settle it later. I think taking that all on day one was a lot when I thought about it.
I could see arguments on both sides. Like my gut is somebody who like markets but doesn't earn money from it. It feels like if you could do it over again, you'd want to release everything at once.
Yes. Whereas I understand the emotional need to get it out, to get the EPUB out and to keep moving. And I honestly can see like a retcon benefit of having you something continually to market, like new pieces of it. Yep. So, I mean, I think both can be argued, but in my head, like a consumer,
you want to present them options.
Yeah.
As opposed, because then it's one consumer, who's getting a plethora of options, as opposed to different consumers kind of being funneled into these other channels, I guess. I mean, at the end of the day, in like 3 months, somebody will be able to choose, presumably, hardcover, paperback, ebook, audiobook.
Yeah, and it depends
on right now, I don't know.
Depends on your goals, but I agree, and I would have preferred to have all formats out on the one day, because as soon as you start really pushing, I probably really won't start pushing marketing and ads and stuff like that until I've got the paperback and hardcover kind of ready to go, because like you said, I definitely want to have people have those options, because a lot of times this is going to be like one of those, it's like when you're walking out of the grocery store and like, oh, candy bar, impulse buy situations where like someone's going to see an ad. If they click on it, and all of a sudden they come to a page to purchase, and I don't have the format they want, I just lost that person, or potentially lost that person.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Because there's so many times where I'm like, I'm in the mood for an audiobook, or like I'm heading to the beach, right? I'm not going to bring an ebook.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to bring my iPad.
Right.
And then you're like hoping that person remembers after that kind of momentary interaction that they're going to come back to it when they will have their ebook or something. Or maybe they're going to go on, they're going to try to run more or something. So they want the audiobook.
And there's also, I've also been reading about like the number of touches sometimes someone needs before they decide to purchase something is like somewhere in like, what is it, 3, 4, 5 touches, something like that? Or I've heard 7 or whatever the number is, right? Like,
I think the old marketing lingo is like 3, but I'm sure it's more than that.
There's probably, because there's just so much out there. Like you probably had to hit the person a couple more times to like get them to actually commit. So I think, this is like, again, this is gonna be a massive learning process, I think, for me. And maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe I'm doing it right. I've had some people say like, oh, maybe you should wait and really build up more of hype. And I'm like, building up hype for a brand and a book and that no one knows about, I don't know if that's the right thing. And a part of me is just like, well, I need to get this thing out so I can work on the next book, because the next book is going to be the best marketing for the first book.
Yeah, just to keep it moving.
Yeah, and there's other goals too. And I was fumbling back and forth with this too, with like the pricing. Like, what are the goals? Do I price it really low and just look for like a ton of sales and get reviews to get going, or do I price it a spot where I may not sell many, but maybe I'll at least recoup my costs of production.
Yeah.
I don't think I've actually really made a hard decision on it yet, which is not good. I should have that planned out. But I have
how I feel about it, because we talked about it. I don't know if I feel right. I mean, I'm definitely, I think, echoing Jeff Morrison's sentiment about at least when he priced his ebook low, it did sell a lot, but the reviews were then lower because there was less of a intrinsic value felt by the reader of it. Yeah. Which is tough, because those reviews could hinder future sales, when it's no longer priced as persuasively. I
mean, unfortunately, and I don't know if unfortunately, I think it's just kind of the world is anyways, like the reviews are huge. I mean, word of mouth reviews, someone telling you it's good, or even just seeing it on Amazon or Goodreads or something like that. It's definitely a driving point. So getting those is important, but I think I've got a plan in mind, and I've got like year-long plan basically for like marketing and like campaigns I'm going to run to like run at different discounts at different points in the year.
I mean, I love the idea of discounts, right? It's just the idea of, I'd be so hesitant about pricing it low, like pricing it at like 99 cents or $1, because I don't think it's representative to the amount of work that you put in to this piece. Like, you put so much time and effort. I mean, it's a professional piece of art. So to price it so low, at least if it's like visibly like $7.99 slash $3.99,
$2.99,
$3.99, that's fine. But if it's like just that forever, even $3.99, like, I don't know, I think that's fine. But 99 it feels like I've bought 99-cent books just to support an author. I never read them because I honestly don't. I mean, it's probably wrong, but I'm like, how can this be quality if you're pricing it so low? And I just have this implicit bias about that low price point.
I agree with you. I'm like on the same page. So again, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see how it works. But yeah, I would prefer the ebook will be $7.99 and then discounting it down to $3.99 or whatever. But
I'm proud of you, man. You killed it.
Thanks.
So you
Thanks, dude.
Head down, got through this. And I know, you went off schedule, there was delays, hit so many different stopping points and hurdles, but you got through, man. I mean, that's huge. Absolutely huge. That, like you say, the tag for this, or the slogan for this cast is from start to finish. You got there. Whew. That's crazy. I mean, forget all the marketing baloney. I know it's important, but for me, like the core of the process is making time for yourself, setting a writing schedule, sticking to it, finishing the damn thing, and then editing it. and then getting it out there. Marketing is a whole other beast and a whole other, part of our brains.
Yeah.
You did it. It's very impressive.
Thanks,
so
man.
Congratulations, dude. Like it's aspirational. I hope I get there.
Yeah, you will. You will. Because we have goals. I've set goals for you that you need to get done. So you need to get this out there as well.
I just need to edit a few more times, a few more 100 times.
No, this is it. You get one more and that's it. You're done.
7th? I get a 7th edit?
Not at all. But yeah, no, thank you. It's, I would say we talked about this like maybe a week or two ago, or whenever last time we did actually just our writer's chat. And like, I would say the last 2 months, I was like, man, I just feel like burned out and like just down and like kind of weird about this whole process. And like then over like, I don't know what happened, like over the last 2 weeks, maybe I just snapped myself out of it. It's good. It's good to go. Like I got all the pieces. It's, it's ready to go out there. And like, so now it's like the last 2 weeks leading up to this has just been like, okay, I'm kind of a mad scramble for all these things I need to do. And I was like, you know what, only do what you can right now, one step at a time. And this time I was like, I have to pick a date. I have to pick a date and just get something out there. And it's okay. And like, just focus on the stuff I can do right now. And this is kind of how it's shaken out, but I'm okay with that because, I don't know. I'm excited about it. So
it's, what I think it's important too, right? Like as much as I was like leaning towards, hey, give yourself a cookie, take a break. I think it bears repeating. I read that Bird by Bird book by Anne Lamott. It was good, but one of the really memorable takeaways is that finishing a book and publishing or getting published, it's not going to make you happy.
Yeah.
It's not the finish line. It's not the goal. That's kind of like an arrival fallacy. It's the process. And we've said it before, you will get, if you get enjoyment out of writing, the day to day, that's kind of where I think you should focus. If you think you will get happiness from finishing and like publishing and getting your little gold star, you need to readjust your perspective.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited this is done so I can work on the next one.
Like, right. That's why it's really interesting, which feels so weird to me. I'm like, oh no, you're done, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Like, no.
How about the bubbly? But you're right. I think you're correct.
Yeah. And that is completely true. And and I think why I've been happy over the last 2 weeks is knowing there is a finish line. I don't have to edit this thing anymore. The cover design's all done. Like everything looks great. I'm happy. I'm pumped. I just have to upload some files and learn how to do some stupid stuff in Ingram Spark and Amazon. And that's it. And I was like, I'm excited because you know what this means? Once this is all done and I click go, I get to work on the next book.
You get to work on the next thing. Yeah.
I just want to
get into it. And you won't lose that momentum, right?
I just want to start writing the next one. And yeah, 100%. That is what's making me happy is the thought that I'm going to be like, I'm like 2 weeks away from just the next thing and diving head into that and just picking up some of these characters that I really enjoy and like having them in this new situation, new scenarios,
Yeah.
And I'm just excited about the stories.
It'll be important to keep in mind too, as you start seeing sales numbers, no matter what they are, right? Like, I think people, I see it on Twitter all the time where people are like, I didn't sell any books today. I didn't sell any books this month, and it like stabs their hearts, right? And how will that affect their motivation to write the next thing? Yeah. Right. And it could completely kneecap them. All of a sudden we've introduced another roadblock.
Yeah.
How did the last one sell? How is the last one selling?
Yeah.
It's just important to keep it in focus that, it's that kind of routine, that meditative process, that's the reward. And it's not necessarily, obviously you need to pay rent, but in a world of
there's other ways to do that. There's other ways. There's, like I said, there's plenty of holes to dig. I can do that.
Yeah.
As long as I just keep doing this. Yeah. I think if I sell one copy, if I sell like 1 million, obviously one of those numbers would be great. But I think I'm just happy that it was something I wanted to do and I completed it and it's done and I saw it through from start to finish. No pun intended to bring the tagline back, but that again, like I just get to work on the next thing. So,
and I do think the next thing is another opportunity to sell this book, especially if you're in world. Yeah. If you're continuing with some of the characters.
Oh, I'm excited about the story too. I was like mapping it out the other day and kind of working through some of the beats. And I was just like, oh, the story I have here, I'm excited for. Like, I want to see this. I want to read this. I want to watch this movie or whatever, Yeah. I got excited about it. And I was like, okay, well now I got to figure out all like the plotting stuff and what's actually going to happen in here. But I have like the kind of like some of the major moments like are there and I'm just getting them kind of in picture and refining them. So
I know I sound like a broken record, man, but it's inspiring. It's like you've been through this whole process and now you're like, all right, do it again, but better. Let's go. Here we are all the way back at this, like the start again.
Yep.
Now let's
Yeah, and I think that's
let's improve the process.
It's going to be interesting to see where I improve and
how your writing changes and like evolves a little bit. You'll know not to start in first person this time.
Yeah, like so many things. There's so many things I've learned.
Unless you want to, but it will be a very thought out decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll have POV hammered down as opposed to what POV am I going to be in?
Yep. No, I got all that stuff already. I figured that all out, Thinking of comps ahead of time, having having those all ready and like, having the ending figured out. Yeah, that's number one. Focusing on my ending and making sure that makes frickin' sense,
Yep. I'll tell you my biggest issue with where I am right now is that like what I am learning currently is that I should have edited harder earlier, but I should have taken more time in between my first draft and my second draft to get more distance. I think I took about a month.
Yeah.
And then I gave it an edit. And I don't think I was still treating my ideas and my like sentences like they just needed to be cleaned. But I think they really needed to be cut. I think I had a lot of stuff to cut and I wasn't comfortable cutting it. And now I am. This six drafts in.
Yeah.
I'm cutting what I should have cut 3 drafts ago.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel attached to it because so much time has passed.
Yeah.
And I've lost a lot of time by rereading and like just cleaning and not really addressing those issues.
You were hanging on to your darlings, like, right? And that's like
I was hanging on to my darlings.
You needed to cut those earlier, and that would have set you up in a spot to like, okay, I've cut that stuff. Now I can get into like the nitty gritty edit instead of doing nitty gritty edit, then realizing to cut and then kind of cutting and then
I mean, I needed I gave it like a read through. I thought I gave it a strong edit before beta, but I didn't. I didn't. It needed more time in the cooker. And I think the beta readers brought up things that I probably should have caught sooner. So anyway, I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to you starting again because I love those conversations, those kind of content. I'm stuck, I love working through the logic of.
Oh, we're going to be having one of those conversations soon. So get ready.
So I saw this nice little clip from Bill Hader where he was talking about, it was like years ago, he was talking about like script writing. And he was like, he's realized over time, with writing scripts, and maybe this is when he was like, shopping Barry or whatever, that when he brought his script to friends, they were almost always right when they said something didn't work. Like, oh, this relationship doesn't work. This scene doesn't work.
Yeah.
They're correct there, but their solutions are always wrong. Like their impulses on how to fix it are incorrect. So that's your opportunity as a writer to hone in and find your own solution. But he was like 9 out of 10 times, and I'm paraphrasing, when they said something wasn't working, they were correct about that. It's just their ideas on how to fix it weren't
right.
weren't his ideas, weren't the right ideas for the piece.
Right.
And I thought that was really interesting because it's still value in like, it makes me think of all the times I've chatted with you or all the times I chat with Jill. And I'm like, this isn't working. And then I'll throw out some garbage solution. And it's like, yeah.
I've definitely done it for you.
But there's still value there, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I've actually taken maybe a good amount of your solutions, actually.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
You're really earning that for Russ at the beginning of my book, man.
Oh, what?
No, it's going to my kids.
Yeah, of course. And Russ. Kids and Russ. And Russ. No, that is kind of interesting, and it's true. And like I think you come across a problem, you're like, this isn't working, and then I try to frame at least if I'm throwing out suggestions, you're like, these are just suggestions. Like it's also more of just like get your brain thinking. I don't know if these are right or wrong, but it's like more to get you thinking like, oh, is this something to do? And then you come up with like making it work. But
all right, man. Well, I'm gonna go buy your book.
Nice. Yeah, get on there right now. You can go to hostthebook.com if you'd like.
Host the book.
Hostthebook.com. You can go there and I'll bring you right to the landing page. You can click on wherever. I'll have links up there for you to click around and clickety-click and buy. Or you can just go to russcapasso.com too. Sign up for a newsletter.
I'll go there.
Yeah, sign up for the newsletter.
Oh, is that happening? Is that moving forward?
Yeah, there'll be a newsletter. It'll be out there telling you when the paperback's coming, telling you when the hardcover's coming.
And what else is it going to have in there? Probably some writing
pictures of like not my dog, stuff like that. Stuff about this podcast because we're still doing this.
Sell me your brand. What are you going to put in there? You're going to like makeup tips?
Tim, all of this. Well, you can't see me, listener, but I'm just like it's just all of me.
There should be beard care.
beard care.
What do you do to maintain this beard?
There's going to be humor in there. I'll give you jokes. I'll give you one-liners,
I love it.
Icebreakers, because I'm pretty good at that. All sorts of value.
Sign me up.
Yeah, that's it. It's out there. Go buy it.
Buy it. Buy the book.
And actually,
this guy needs to pay rent.
I got to pay rent. I am starving. I'm a starving artist. Actually, I just ate I can't wait. I'm about to eat a really nice sandwich. Go buy it and leave a nice review. Or a terrible one, doesn't matter. Just leave a review.
No, leave a nice one. Don't listen to them. That's absolutely
5 stars.
4 stars. Great. 4 stars.
Yeah. Make it realistic. 4 stars and be like, loved it. Maybe a couple more words than that. You could have
cut a year off of the production.
You know what? Wanted it sooner.
Yeah. Where's the hardcover?
I couldn't put it down. I had to throw it across the room. 4 stars.
I broke my e-reader.
Yeah. If you need help, just use ChatGPT. Just pump in some nice comments in there and let that write the review for you. Done.
Yeah, I guess that's okay.
You can AI your comments. What are you watching and reading, Henning?
I want you to go first. What do you? I feel like I always go first and then I ramble on. What are you watching and reading? I'm not doing much these days. I
just finished Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky. It was good. I don't know if I'm going to dive into. I think it's a part of a trilogy. Everything's part of a trilogy, right? I don't know if I'm going to dive into books 2 and 3 just yet. It's great world building, and I enjoyed reading it. Some great themes in there to explore. But I just started. Was it Slow Horses by Nick Herron?
Not familiar.
Yeah, it's like a British crime story. It's on Apple Plus, I think, Apple TV or whatever.
Okay.
Apple TV Plus, whatever they call it these days. With Gary Oldman. It's a TV show on there that everyone, I guess, is enjoying. But I just started that. I'm about a third of the way through. I'm like, so it's only like a 300 on the Kindle. It's like a 300 and change book. I'm like about a third of the way through. The writing, it reads real smooth, but there have been, I don't know, 1 million characters introduced.
Yeah.
Just 1 million. And it's just like, I think because like it's based on like a little team of people who have been kind of downgraded to work at the Slow Horses, which is just like a I don't think it's like a secret service, but like they're investigators, stuff like this, but they're kind of like the bottom of the rung, it seems like. And 1 million characters. And I think this crew is like 5 or 6 people. And then there's a bunch of other characters all introduced, and everyone's got their like description right off the bat. So it's like, I don't know who everyone is. You get it starts weeding into like the top 2 or 3 characters it feels like you need to pay attention to. But there's a lot of heavy intro, but I'm enjoying it so far. So outside of that,
I when I was doing comps, I read Bird Box, which was made into that Netflix movie forever ago.
Yeah.
There was like 1 million characters in a house, and maybe it's just me, but I could not picture them. I couldn't place them.
Yeah.
They were just like floating names that I had the hardest time caring about.
And did they do like heavy description of them when they first introed them, or?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty sparse throughout.
Okay. Yeah, this is pretty
almost too sparse.
Yeah. Yeah, like we've talked about, like, what's the balance of like, do you give like dark hair, wears sunglasses, has the beard, and wears khakis all the time, and sneakers and socks, and this is the kind of pair of socks he wears on Tuesdays? Like, do you give all that right off the bat, or do you give like kind of trickle it out? I'm more of like a trickle it out type of. I prefer that. Give me like the 1 or 2 things. Give me like a tick or something like I could associate the name and the the thing with them. And then you can tell me what kind of shoes they wear, like in 14 chapters later or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Watching wise, because I'm an old man. I just started watching Jack Ryan season 4, which it's like dad TV, but I'm not a dad.
Season 4 of that?
Season 4, buddy.
Oh my God, you could have had a whole separate family.
I know. And Witcher 3, season 3, I think, right? Season 3.
Yeah, they're on season 3. Is that worth watching? Like, I watched the first season and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I kind of noped out in the second season.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun. It's good. I enjoyed it. Season 1 and 2 are really good. Season 3, they did this thing where they split it up. So you got part 1 and part 2, which is kind of obnoxious. So I watched the first 2 episodes of season 3. I think they were going to drop 3 and 3. And by the time this episode airs, it'll all be out. So I was like, let me just hold off. And I watched the first episode of season 3. I'm like, I don't remember who everyone is. Like, I remember them, obviously Geralt and like the main characters, but I was like, all these other side characters, all their motivations, I don't know what they want. I don't remember anything. And it's like there's like a 9-minute long season recap. And I was like, I watched that. I was like, I still don't know what's going on. I don't know who's who. So I started rewatching season 2 just so I could like remember everyone.
It drives me a little crazy. And it's one of those
It's a fantasy
I mean, it's
story.
not marketing per se, but it's like IP visibility. Like we've known for about a year that Henry Cavill is leaving Witcher,
Yeah.
and that he's being replaced with
Liam Hemsworth.
Liam Hemsworth.
Yes.
That makes me less interested in watching the show.
Because you
Like,
get invested in this character, this actor.
this iteration of the character, then like I feel like my time isn't being valued.
Yeah.
Not to say you can't recast, it's just that God, if at all possible, they should have slowed production down and kept it closer to the chest.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's an attrition when there isn't that kind of dedicated, like people like you get connected. It's kind of like what they did with like the DC movies.
Yeah.
Like, why in God's name did they announce James Gunn and the new DCU, like the new universe there? And then they still had like 3 or 4 old movies from the one that's going to be erased. Like, it's crazy to me. And it's the complete opposite of what Feige's doing with Marvel, where Marvel's bringing along like all the Fox X-Men stuff, and maybe it won't be 100% canon, but he's valuing people's time in a way. Same thing with Spider-Man movies. Like, you've got Andrew Garfield, you've got Toby, now you've got, Logan popping into a Deadpool movie that will be, it's like, my time feels respected, whereas everything is being reset for the DCU. And I feel like the folks who are into the Snyderverse and the Save the Snyderverse, their time has not been respected, and they have not handled that gracefully.
No.
And even for like pop culture, general awareness, it's like, who's going to go see Blue Beetle? Like, they're doing reshoots on the new Aquaman movie. Like, they're just, the Flash movie tanked. I don't know. It's just, it feels like such a terrible leadership and a terrible marketing choice to announce early.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts.
I agree. And I agree in coming back to like the Henry Cavill thing too. Like, probably after season 3, I don't know, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll see season 4 and if Liam Hemsworth steps up, but I don't know. Henry Cavill was like, I don't know. He kind of nailed it. Like, and he loves it too. He loves the game. He's like a nerd about it. He loves the character, and you can tell he's like all in on it. And there was like some chatter around, like he left or he was hard to work with because he really liked the books, and like, so then you infer like, oh, do the showrunners not like the book? Like, it just ruins the investment in the IP, I think. And there should be like, I don't know. It's also like, they
shouldn't be talking about it publicly if they want people to give a shit about their show. 100%.
And also there's 8 books. Like, what are you doing? You don't, like, this is kind of like a paint by numbers thing. Don't there's 8 books, and I think that story is done. I don't know if there's more to it. It's not like it's like a George R. R. Martin situation here where you're like, oh, story showing is caught up and is passing the books, and we got to come up with something. But it's like, you have all this content to work from. Why would you shift away from those things? I don't know how closely the show runs the books. I didn't read the books. I may dive into them, but like,
I started. They were like a little
much.
I don't know. I couldn't get invested.
Yeah,
they read like, no offense, they read a little bit like romance.
Ooh, nice fantasy romance. I'm gonna dive into writing fantasy romance. I think it's gonna be next.
Oh yeah, I'll read that.
Hot and steamy. So what do you got? What do you? Nothing.
I mean, I'm still working through the Broken Earth. I'm just about done with that first book. It's awesome.
Good. So good.
And I've got Psycho by Robert Bloch on deck. I might read that as like a beach read.
Nice.
And that's about it. And then I watched the new indie, which was...
Oh, yeah. What'd you think?
It was okay.
Silly. It gets silly at the end, right?
He's a vestige of a Begotten Time, which is, I think there's some messaging in the movie kind of about that, but it's the wrong moment in time to celebrate that character, unfortunately, especially as somebody who works in museums. I feel like a little...
It belongs in a museum.
It doesn't belong in a museum. It belongs with the people who owned the artifacts, right? Like, that's the...
Yeah.
So if your tagline is so passé that it's somehow become offensive, it's like, maybe, I'm happy to see Indy go out on this note as opposed to Crystal Skull. I thought they handled, that well. And I think Harrison Ford showed up and did a great job, like you said last time.
Better than Crystal Skull.
I could have gone
better than Temple Doom,
though. Like, I got to rewatch. I doubt it.
Yeah. That's a tough one. Some people said it was better than Temple Doom. I was kind of like, it's close, but I don't know if it's better, because Temple Doom, I don't know. It's not a good movie, but there's something about it. I guess just the time it came out. I was a kid and saw it, and it's just, what is going on?
I mean, I can say my kids enjoyed the film. Like, I feel like they contemporized it enough where they weren't bored and they were excited, and they're actually gasping at moments. It was cute, kind of looking over and seeing their expressions for certain scenes. I will say the whole de-aging thing, I understand narratively why they did it, because they like want to get people up to speed who hadn't seen the previous 4 or movies.
Yeah.
But I hated it. I
You didn't
absolutely hated it.
The voice is tough.
Not even yes, the voice is tough. And like you had said before, like it didn't land for me. It still felt like not like Polar Express, but I was just like, what are we even doing? Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, I would have rather the movie start, with current Ford, with no de-aging. I would have rather a montage of previous movies than giving us that kind of de-aged thing. And it wasn't just showy.
It wasn't like a short piece either. It was like the first
a big piece.
30, 40 minutes of the movie. I think it was a long piece. Like it was.
The other thing that surprised me too is that, I mean, obviously a lot of the Indiana Jones movies took place like in a pre-CG era. I was surprised that, at least for me, the negative sentiment around Crystal Skull was that there was too much crappy CG. Yes. Especially in Act 3 of that movie.
Yes.
I cannot believe that they doubled down on CG in this movie. I figured they would have taken a much more kind of tactile analog approach in your Top Gunny Mission Impossible vein, where like you use CG to accentuate things, but you're not on a stage. There's something about being in place.
Yeah.
And so much of it did feel like you're in front of a green screen type of stuff. And it
takes you out of it.
It took me out of it. It was just an interesting choice, but I mean, those are minor gripes. It was the best you could do with that character in a contemporary setting where that type of character should be sunset.
Yeah.
You can't modernize it enough.
No. I think it's good. We're done. I
feel like you don't want to cancel Indy, but it's time to.
We're done.
We're hanging off into the sunset.
We're hanging up the hat and the whip.
You can almost cancel Indy. It's like you walk. It's a fine line.
Yeah, maybe, sure, yeah. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, one thumb up. There you go.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I buy that for $1. Is that it?
I won't buy it on Blu-ray. And that's it.
All right. Well, I guess we're done here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I got to go buy your book.
You have two action items here.
Buy the book.
Buy the book.
Sign up for e-news.
Oh yeah. Or I was gonna say read the book, but you don't. I guess you've already read it. So.
I honestly, I haven't read it since it's been content, copy, and line edited.
Oh, so there's gonna be some new stuff in there for you. Yeah, I don't know. Give it a read. It'll be a nice beach read. But you don't
I read the producer's cut of it.
Yes.
The assembly cut, like Alien 3.
Yeah. So buy the book, read the book, newsletter, and review. So you got 4 action items. I'm sorry, that's a lot. Just buy the book.
I got one more because I'm going to buy the ebook, and then I'm coming back and I'm going to buy a few of the paperbacks.
Oh, awesome.
I'd even get a hardcover if it comes out. I want to be able to give these around. So,
thank you. Yeah, it'll be there.
I like, me. I like it. You poo-poo me for buying physical things.
Yeah.
Until it's your physical things.
Well, yeah. Yes, then buy all of them that you possibly can.
You're like, oh, Tim doesn't download movies. He buys discs. He likes Blu-rays and 4Ks. Buy my book. Buy my hardcover.
Buy my hardcover. I don't care what you do with your space. My space, I'm going to have one version of my book sitting on my shelf, and that's it.
You better have a box of your book. You got to go schlepping around town.
Oh God! I mean, my little 600 square foot box here is gonna be just stacks of them, probably.
Dude, honestly, I mean, congratulations!
Thanks, man.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. I wish it was the evening, and I wish we were drinking alcohol and not coffee.
Someday. I'll come
and you're doing I mean, not to keep rambling on about this, but your book launch. You're going to do a book launch, right?
Yeah, I'll probably have I still got to figure that out, but I'm going to do like a little book launch party up here in Massachusetts, in Somerville. I don't know when.
Tell me, I want to go.
When exactly, but it'll be happening. It'll all be out there. So
sign me a copy.
I will in person to my biggest fan.
Yeah.
All right, what are we doing for the next episode?
I mean, we talked a little bit about it this time, but I think we're going to dive into social and marketing and all the stuff you'll be having to do next time.
Yeah, I'll be probably deep in the weeds with a plan and kind of the things I'm going to be doing over the next couple of months. So by then,
maybe
at least I need to. At least I need to if I want to spread the word. So, but yeah, thattle be it. We'll talk.
And then maybe I'll finish editing sometime, and we can talk about the sad process of querying. I'm going to start setting dates for you. I'm going to start becoming a project manager. I said June because I read somewhere that June was a good month to query, but every chapter takes about 5 hours to edit, and that's not. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Just let the AI do it.
No. I'm not letting that touch my book.
All right. Well, stick around for the next episode. Next time we'll talk marketing and social media stuff and see where Tim is at in his book and see if he's crumbled and is going to start using AI.
No, never.
All right. Well, yeah, don't use AI, but until next time, just keep writing.